Hey everyone, and welcome back to another great eShop deals video. So even with last week's double eShop deals, I have yet again a list of 30 fresh games to look at for this week. Also, don't forget that about halfway through the video, we'll be announcing this week's winner of the $5 eShop gift card. If you're wondering how you can participate in that giveaway, all you need to do is check out the midweek eShop deals under $5 video and basically drop a comment there. Also, for anyone new to the channel, I'll always be linking in the top pinned comment and the description of the video last week's eShop deals because I don't go over the deals that were mentioned in the last week's video. But some of those deals are still live and still very valid, so it's always a good idea to check them out. They're all time-stamped, so you can do that pretty quickly after you're done with this video. So as usual, I don't want to waste any more time and jump straight into the deals. Just don't forget that if you do like the content, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Now we're starting out this week's video with a bang because the whole Final Fantasy series is on sale at 50% or more, with the cheapest one right here, Final Fantasy VII, starting at $7.99, and we'll be stopping at the recommended ones at $11.99. Now basically this is one of the most iconic JRPG series to ever come out, and if you haven't played a Final Fantasy series, well, it's some of the best JRPGs you can pretty much get on the Switch, even though some of them will start to feel a little dated. And as I said earlier, in my opinion, the best pickups are Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 that range from $7.99 to $10.49. And next, you have Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles at 60% off at $11.99. The only two entries I would slightly stay away from, just because you can actually pick them up physically cheaper than this, are Final Fantasy X and X2 or Final Fantasy 12. But if you don't care about physical editions, the deals are still pretty decent, they're just cheaper in a physical version. Now we're not done yet with the big Square Enix games because we also have two of the biggest Mana games that are also on sale, with both Legend of Mana and Trials of Mana being at the under $25 mark. The one I really want to highlight, however, is Legend of Mana because this is a first ever sale and a lowest ever price at $22.49. Now both these games are great remasters of iconic action RPGs. However, as earlier, Trials of Mana does have a physical version and I have already seen it cheaper than the $24.99 price point. However, Legend of Mana, for the moment in the West, has not received a physical release, and this is really the cheapest price we've ever had it. So unless you're going to import it for Japan for a lot more money, this is probably the best way to pick up Legend of Mana currently at only $22.49. So the next game we're going to take a look at is this week's sponsor, yet again from Red Deer Games, with Little Mouse's Encyclopedia that starting tomorrow will be hitting a new lowest ever price at 55% off, placing the price somewhere around $5.85 in the US. However, the deal will be available for European regions as well. Little Mouse's Encyclopedia is ideal for born explorers. You'll be wandering around lively boards and you'll find different animals and plants, and using a magnifying glass, you can reveal different cards that contain interesting information and drawings. The game is also available in 18 different languages and has a beautiful graphic style that was inspired by classic fairy tales and children's encyclopedias. I myself received this game a couple of months ago from Red Deer Games, and I explored it with my youngest daughter, and if you have a kid that is just at the age of starting to read, this is a great game to have them mix in playing with learning. So if you were looking for a quality, well-done educational game, look no further than Little Mouse's Encyclopedia, and starting tomorrow, as I said earlier, it'll be at a brand new low price of 55% off, both in the NA and EU regions. Now our next deal I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, it only has a day left on the deal, but I do think that if you haven't had a chance to pick it up yet, it's a great time to do so, with Spiritfarer that is still 50% off, dropping its price to $14.99. Now Spiritfarer is a cozy time management game, however mixed in with a beautiful storyline about helping different spirits pass to the afterlife. With truly amazing visual graphics and really enticing storylines, this is probably one of the best mixes of time management with storyline I've ever seen on the Switch. I will warn that this game does have some pretty sad and heart-touching moments, so if you're not ready for that, be careful before picking up this game, but at $15, I do think that Spiritfarer is excellent value. Now next, we have two collections on sale that from now on, I'll be combining into one mention because this deal comes up so often that it's almost a new regular price, but still the value is so amazing that I feel like I have to mention them each time. And that is the BioShock collection and the Borderlands collection that are both currently 60% off for $19.99. Now, in both these collections, you are getting 3 games apiece, and all these games are AAA quality releases. In the BioShock collection, you get an FPS game that is mixed with a little bit of mystery and horror, and in the Borderlands collection, you get pretty much one of the best looter-shooter series available on the Switch. And both these collections have been ported to the Switch in a very good fashion, and just having them in a portable format is an amazing experience. Now next on the list, we get to a game that is at a brand new low with Green Hell that is now 75% off for only $6.24. Now Green Hell is an open world survival simulator, and it is all done from the first person's perspective. If you ever wanted the true feeling of trying to survive on a desert island or on a remote location, Green Hell is probably the closest you'll get in a gaming format for the moment. I will give one slight warning though, Green Hell has quite the difficulty level, so if you're not ready for that challenge, be careful before picking this one up, but at $6.24, this game is truly a steal. Now the next game on our list is finally getting a sale, and I couldn't wait to talk to you all about this game, with Rising Hell being 50% off at its lowest ever price of $4.99, and on top of it, this game will be my pick of the week. Now, I know we currently have a ton of roguelites on the Nintendo Switch, but I do think that Rising Hell is a cut above the rest, and on top of it, it has a really original playstyle with you having vertically to scale a tower. It also has an amazing pixel art style to it and some really enticing game mechanics. Yet again, just a fair warning that this game does have quite a difficulty level at the beginning, but once you get into it, it is a joy to play this game. Also, I couldn't even believe that it released at a regular sale price of only $10, and if you need any more convincing, this game also has a free downloadable demo. Now, our next entry is one of the best Wonder Boy remakes, with Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap that is currently 60% off at $7.99. Now, the Wonder Boy series is one of the best action platformer series with slight Metroidvania elements depending on which entry we're looking at that are available on the Switch. And this particular entry is one of the best of the remakes that we've received so far. Now, the newer graphics are truly beautiful and on a modern standard, but if you ever want to experience more of the original feel, at any moment you can switch to the original 8-bit soundtrack and graphics. But overall, if you're looking for a really solid action platformer at only $7.99, Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap is a great choice for this week. Now, our next entry is another series that has 2 entries on sale this week, with the Assassin's Creed series having both the Rebel Collection at 50% off for $19.99 that you see on the screen right now, but there is also Assassin's Creed 3 that is currently 63% off, dropping the price to only $14.99. Now, personally, out of these 2 games, I prefer the Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection because it has one of my all-time favorite Assassin's Creed games, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. However, Assassin's Creed 3 is an excellent entry as well and is slightly cheaper at only $14.99. Ultimately, if you're into 3D action-adventure games, either one of these collections are excellent pickups for this week. Now, just before we go any further, it's time to announce this week's winner of the $5 eShop gift card. And this week's winner will be Joseph Wilson that said, "Aw yeah, just in time for my lunch. Let's see what we can get into." So hopefully, Joseph, you found something good on the list, and if you didn't, well, maybe with the $5 eShop gift card, you're going to want to splurge a bit. Now, all you need to do, Joseph, to claim your $5 eShop gift card is reach out to me in my pinned comment down below. Now, the next deal we're going to be taking a look at is RAJI, an ancient epic that is still 50% off, dropping its price to only $12.49. Now, this is another awesome 3D action-adventure game, but this time it is set in ancient India. And the gameplay actually reminds me a lot of the early Prince of Persia series from the PS2 era. We're not at all looking at a carbon copy, but I do think that they inspired a lot of mechanics from that different series. Now, ultimately, if you're looking for a truly beautiful 3D action adventure game, this one will not disappoint at $12.49. And yet again, if you need to test it out for yourself, this one has a free downloadable demo. Now, our next deal is another one that only has a day left on it, so if you do want to pick it up, do move fast. With Katrin Full Body, that is currently 50% off, dropping the price to only $24.99. Now, this game is a truly mature-themed 3D action adventure puzzler, and it's all about a guy that is cheating on his girlfriend. It has some really crazy themed levels where you're all working through the different elements of your main character's psyche. Now, this game is going to come with the same warning as I give a couple of other games this week. Although this is a great price to be picking it up digitally, I've already seen this game cheaper in a physical version around $20. However, if you don't care about physical versions and you just want to pick up this game at a great digital price, this is equivalent to the lowest it's ever been digitally. Now, the next deal we're going to be taking a look at is an excellent arcade-style racer with Burnout Paradise Remastered, currently at 50% off for yet again $14.99. Now, this game is an excellent, over-the-top arcade-style racer, and even with the recent release of Cruisin' Blast and Hot Wheels Unleashed at only $14.99, Burnout Paradise still sticks out as an excellent value pickup at only $14.99, really going toe-to-toe with those other entries. Ultimately, if you're into arcade racers and you haven't played Burnout Paradise yet, at $14.99 for a portable format of the game, it is an excellent pickup. Now, if you thought we were done with the RPGs, you'd be wrong, because we have two more excellent entries coming up, with the first one being Ys Origin, back to 60% off at only $7.99. Now, the Ys series is another very long-running action RPG series from Japan. And let me tell you that this remake of the original is an excellent entry into the series. And if you are into action RPGs, especially ones with an old school feel, definitely give Ys Origin a try, and at $7.99, yet again, this game is truly a steal. And just as promised, we have yet another excellent RPG with Star Ocean First Departure R that is down to 50% off at $10.49. Now, yet again, another remake of an excellent original, more action-oriented RPG from Japan. Now, the Star Ocean series, I do think, didn't get all the attention it deserved out here in the West, because it is truly a great series. And this one in particular, which is a remake of the original that was already remade previously on the PSP, is an excellent entry in the series. And if you've never played a Star Ocean game, it's actually an amazing place to start. Now, the next deal on our list is going to be Going Under, that is back to 50% off for only $9.99. Now, this is yet another roguelite, but yet again, it is one that differentiates itself enough to be really worth a pickup, even with the vast quantity we are getting currently on the Switch. With a wacky playstyle that you're basically making your way through failed tech startups, this one is a really original entry. It is fairly difficult, but more approachable than some other roguelites, especially in the beginning. So if you're looking for something a little different, definitely take a look at Going Under. Now, next is another game that I love to mention when it's on sale, with Wargroove that is currently 40% off, knocking its price down to only $11.99. Now, we've looked at a lot of RPGs this week, but what we haven't had yet is a strategy RPG. And Wargroove at only $11.99 offers amazing value of content for a low price. And this game feels a lot like the Advanced Wars series, although set in a medieval fantastic environment. And since we're getting remakes of that series in just a couple of months, this is an excellent way to spend your time while you're waiting for that release. Now, our next game is a game that very rarely goes on sale, with Blazing Chrome at 60% off for $6.79, and let me tell you, this game came very close to being my pick of the week. Now, as I just said, unfortunately this game doesn't come on sale very often, but even at its full price of $16.99, for anyone who's really into awesome retro-styled run-and-gun shooters, I definitely would recommend this game even at its full price. It is one of the rare games that comes very close to being almost as good as an original Contra entry. The only warning I'm going to give here, since it has a straightforward arcade style, once you get used to the difficulty level, you can knock this game out pretty quick. But overall, if you're into that arcade style of gameplay, At only $6.79, I don't think anyone will be disappointed with this game. Now, next on the list, we have another game that doesn't go on sale very often, with Kunai being 60% off at only $6.79 yet again. Now, in my opinion, this is definitely one of the more underrated Metroidvanias on the Nintendo Switch. It is basically a ninja-styled Metroidvania with a really original grappling mechanic. There are moments that this game almost feels like a Mega Man game meets a Metroidvania. Once again, this game has a fair level of difficulty, but once you get used to it, for the beautiful 16-bit art style and really honestly amazing soundtrack, this game, as I said earlier, I really do think is underrated, and if you need convincing, yet again, this one has a free downloadable demo. Now, our next deal is another game at a brand new low price with Curse of the Dead Gods now 25% off for $14.99. Now, this is going to be the last roguelite on today's list, but this is truly another really great entry, with an art style and a playstyle that feels a lot like Hades, however, that also does a lot of its own. On top of it, this game just recently received some new free DLC, so this is an excellent time to jump into it. Basically, if you enjoyed Hades and you were looking for another roguelite in the same genre but that still has an original feel, Curse of the Dead Gods is an excellent pickup, especially now at its new low price of $14.99. Now, the next game that I want to give a shout out to is Team Sonic Racing, that is currently 50% off at $14.99. Now, this is a kart style racer that, as the title suggests, features the characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. However, at the same time, this is a very approachable entry for players of all ages. And don't be fooled, it is not just a copy of Mario Kart. This really has its own feel to it, really focusing on the team-based dynamics. So just finishing first is often not enough if you're not helping out your teammates. Just yet again, a quick warning that there is a physical bundle with this and Sonic Mania together that does sometimes go at a pretty low price and can sometimes be a better pickup if you were looking for both games. Now, next we have yet another game at a brand new low price with the Turrican Flashback collection at 40% off for $17.99. Now, personally, this is a collection I just picked up myself because I was waiting for a deal on it. Basically, it combines some of the best Turrican classics like Turrican, Turrican 2, Mega Turrican, and even Super Turrican. Now, I was a fan of those original releases, which is why I was really keeping an eye on this collection and waiting for a deal. These are some great retro run-and-gun platformers. Fair warning though, the gameplay will feel quite dated. If you're into retro gaming, this is a great collection. If you aren't, you might want to stay away from this one. Now, the last game for this week's list is going to be a shout out for Cyber Shadow that is currently only 10% off at $17.99, but so far, other than its pre-release, this game has never been cheaper than this. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this game, even though it's only a 10% off, is that personally, it is one of my favorite action platformers currently on the Switch. I do find personally that it is one of the best designed games in recent years. Only thing here, yet again, it is very challenging. So if someone is not into 2D retro challenging platformers, stay away from this one. However, this is a game that even at its full price is an instant pickup for anyone into retro platformers. So even with just a 10% off, at least it's better than nothing. So here we are at the end of this week's list of eShop deals. And you know what? Even with the mega list of 50 games we did last week, I do think that this week's list again is a very strong list with almost 30 entries that are all great pickups. Now do be careful because a lot of these games only have about a day and a half left on their deals. So if you want to get them, do check out the eShop for those end dates and make sure to pick them up before time runs out. Now, just before we go, I really want to thank the channel supporters. They help us in a huge way and keep our channel growing. I also want to thank Red Deer Games, who sponsored today's video with Little Mouse Encyclopedia. And on the way out, don't forget that if you did like the video, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already and hit the notification bell so you know when all my future videos come out. And as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video.